So it's day 21 now of the second hatching round. So actually the first hatching round of the chickens. And the chicks have hatched. So far I can see 7 chicks. So we're gonna prepare the cage now, and I'm gonna show you how to take care of chicks. First you will need a cage. Something like this is very easy or convenient. It's made out of plastic with a iron cage above it. Why something like this? Because it's very easy to clean. As you can see, it's also lightweight. What I also use is this wrapping foil. It's not easily found in the most stores, but when you're lucky, when you go to a warehouse, they will sell you one, if you're lucky. And I wrap it around the cage, so when the chicks are like scratching around for feed or taking a dust bath, it doesn't all spill over. When you're done, you can try to clean it, or you can even just throw it away and use a new foil when you have a new batch of chicks. Then of course we have our feeder. I just use something basic like this. I believe it can contain about half a kilo of feed or a kilo. A drinker. I prefer to use something with nipples. Why? Because this can't get dirty, it's completely closed, and they also can't drown in it. Because there's no way they can get in it. And it contains 1 liter, it doesn't take a lot of space. And you can put it on the heat plate. So this is the heat plate. Why I use a heat plate and not lamps? Because when this is warm, you can almost place your hand on it and you won't get burned. While a heat plate is very hot, and when a chick jumps against it, when you have like a wire cage or an iron cage around it to actually prevent it. But when it does happen and he jumps in it and he's stuck, he might burn, and that's something you don't want. So I use heat plates, it's much safer. It also uses only 25 watts. So that's only 1/10 of 1 heat lamp. So if you have like 10 heat plates running, it uses the same power as 1 lamp. So why should you use a lamp? Maybe there's only one disadvantage, and it's kind of small. This is one of the smallest versions. It's 30 by 30 centimeters. So it's good for about 20 or 30 bantam chicks, maybe like 15 larger chicks. Another advantage is that you can adjust the height of it. What you need to look for, so first we set it quite low, and this edge should be at the same level as the back of a chick when it stands up. So when a chick is running around, let's say this is the back, this should be the same level. So when it stands, only his back will touch it. Because it's not that hot, but they could even get burned. Of course they won't go into flames, but they might get burn wounds if it's too low. But the first days you can even make it a little bit lower than their back, because they come from an incubator with a temperature of 37.5 degrees Celsius. But afterwards you can raise the height until when they grow. As a litter, I prefer to use wheat bran. It's actually a feed for horses. Why do I use wheat bran? Well, this is edible. When you have small chicks, they usually don't really know what they should eat. So if they accidentally start eating this, it doesn't matter, because it's actually meant as a feed. I learned this from pheasant breeders who had troubles with chicks getting diarrhea because they were eating the wood shavings or something else they used, and that's not really meant for as a feed, of course. When they eat this, that's not a problem. But I only recommend it to use it for like very small chicks. When they are like 6 weeks and older, I would recommend that you switch over to the litter you use for adult chickens, because it's not meant to get dirty. But yeah, small chicks lay small poops, of course. So it's less of a problem with the wheat bran. But when they get bigger, then it gets too dirty too much, and it's not really the best moisture absorber, so you get fungi. That's of course something you don't want when you're raising chicks. But as a starter, until they are about 6 weeks old, this is a very good material to use as a litter. When the chicks are very young, it's better to place your heat plate away from the edges, because when you place it in the corner and the chicks are only a day old, they could get stuck in here. And when you don't see it, or it happens like overnight, and you don't hear it or you see it, they might die. So in the beginning, like the first week, it's better to place it away from the edges so they can't get stuck. And afterwards, when they are older, you can place it more in a corner so they have like more free living space. Also in the beginning, I placed the drinker on top of the heat plate. This is also like the correct height for them to drink. Also, when they get older, you can place them on the sides or in the inside on the sides. Then you will have even more space in your cage. For the feeder, at first I place them on the bottom, because the chicks are not used to jumping up on this, or some chicks can't even jump so high. So also the first week I place it in the litter, but they might scratch a little bit, and then you have something like this. And the first week you might have to clean it a lot. But after the first week, and when you see that they are jumping on up on here, you can place this over here, maybe and put the drinker somewhere else, and then they don't have the chance to or it will stay cleaner this way for a longer time. But for now we're gonna leave it here. Okay. Water for chicks, I use tap water. You might say, with our chicks, why don't you use rainwater? Well, your rainwater probably comes from your roof, and on your roof are probably birds. And birds shit everywhere, or they poop everywhere. And this also gets into the rainwater. Of course, for flushing your toilet and watering your plants, that's not a problem. But you only need one sick bird. He poops on your roof, it starts to rain, it gets into your rainwater, and then you have water you don't want to give to your chicks. So I always use tap water. Maybe if you're very rich, you could also use mineral water. But tap water is fine. So for the chicks, we use the shouldn from Country's Best. That's a start Crumble. So when you see this bag, you will see shouldn and shouldn. But what is it? Well, you can see this on the white label, and here it shows shouldn Crumble. So this is the start feed for from day 1 until week 6. The shouldn is for chickens, pheasants, quails, and what have you. So I prefer to use a crumble instead of a mash, because this way they can't be picky. They have to eat a crumble, or they just don't eat, but it's of course not gonna happen. But with a mash, they tend to look for like, the pieces of grains or the pieces of maize or something else. And chickens, of course, like to scratch, and then they spill a lot. And when they spill a mash, it just kind of disappears into the litter and it gets wasted. So that's why I prefer to use a crumble. Less spillage means, of course, less cost, and we all want less cost, of course. And the litter stays cleaner too, because spilled feed is also, especially in combination with moisture, a very good soil for bacteria or fungi. And of course, after 6 weeks, we can switch over to the Show 2, the growth pallet. I believe this is also like a small pallet and not a crumble anymore. But later in the breeding season. It's day 22 now, so I'm gonna take the chicks out. Hopefully some more have hatched. But apparently none of them hatched. So let's take the ones out from yesterday. I think this is a Wyandotte bantam. It's very fluffy. I'm not sure, but this might be one too. Yeah, definitely one Wyandotte bantam chick hatched. This is an Ancona bantam, Ancona, Ancona. Oh, there's one still hatching, so I'm gonna put the incubator back on. This one is hatching too. And this one too. I'm gonna spray them just a little bit to keep the humidity high. Maybe add some water. And here are 7 chicks. But I only found 1 broken egg from the Wyandotte bantams. I think that's this chick. As you can see, they're hungry and thirsty. So let's put them in their cage. And they already found the water.